How to read music treble clef notes. There are so many different parts to learning how to read music, including time signatures and note values and dynamics and all these different symbols and so much more. But today we're just going to focus on the notes of the treble clef. Each note tells you two things. One is the pitch, and this is where the note is located up or down on the staff, and this is what we're going to be focusing on today. And number two is the note value, which is how long to hold that note. The note value you can figure out by the shape of the note, and I'm not going to go over that in this video, but I do have a video that goes over that in detail, so I will link that above. Each line and each space on the music staff represents a specific pitch, and each line and each space on the treble clef is different from the line and space on the bass clef. So the first line on the treble clef is not the same as the first bottom line of the bass clef. So remember that bottom line of the treble clef, that is an E. So any note on that very bottom line is always going to be an E. And then that bottom space is an F. And the second line is a G. And every note on that second line of the treble clef is always going to be a G. And so you can label each line and each space with a certain note. E, F, G, A, B, C, and so on. It goes with the music alphabet. I want you to remember that these notes go in order. That means that we are following the music alphabet from A to G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, just like you would see on a piano keyboard. Those notes are always from A to G. And so when you're reading the music staff, it's going from bottom to top, following the music alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and it goes like that over and over. Here's one way to remember all of these notes. So all the space notes on the treble clef actually spell face, F-A-C-E, going from bottom to top. That means the first note on the first space is an F. On the second space, that's an A. On the third space, that's a C. And on the fourth space, that is an E. You can use face to figure out the other notes on the lines of the treble clef as well. So let's say we have a note on the third line of the treble clef. And so we can look that on the second space, that was an A. And when we go up to the very next note, an A, B would be on that third line. If we're trying to figure out the note on the second line, we're going to again look at that first space, that's an F, and then go up to the very next note, and that is a G. Now, how about on the bottom line? So we have an F on the first space. Now we can go backwards through the alphabet. If we have an F, what comes before F? Well, that will be E. And so that bottom line is an E. Here's another way to remember the notes on the treble clef, and I call this the landmark notes system. And these landmark notes are particular notes on the treble clef and actually on the bass clef as well, but we're focusing on the treble clef. So there are particular notes that you will remember exactly where they are, so that then you are able to figure out all the other notes on the treble clef using the system of reading music. So our first landmark note to remember is middle C. It is located below the treble clef staff and has that little ledger line through it that makes it easy to remember. So remember, this is what middle C looks like, has that little ledger line through it. And then our second landmark note to remember is treble G, and it is located on the second line of the treble clef. You could also remember this because the treble clef staff looks somewhat like a G, and then that treble clef staff circles that G line, and so all the way across, that's going to be G on the second line of the treble clef. The next note to remember is treble C. It is on the third space of the treble clef. Remember, F-A-C-E from face. And then the fourth landmark note is F, and it's located on the very top line of the treble clef. And I think this one's easy to remember because it's just on the very top line. So that's what makes it special. And then the last landmark note on the treble clef is high C. And high C doesn't look exactly like middle C. It also has ledger lines. It's above the treble clef staff, but it is on the second ledger line above the treble clef staff. And so still kind of special looking here, but different than that middle C that we had below the treble clef staff. So if you remember these notes, middle C, treble G, treble C, high F, and high C on the treble clef staff, then you can count all the lines and spaces to figure out the other notes in between. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And that way you're able to figure them out more quickly than if you were to just count from middle C per se. There are a couple more things that can help you read music well and quickly. So first off, if we're going line, space, line, space, line, space to the very next line, to the very next space on the music staff, then we are going up. The pitches are getting higher and higher, and you're going to the right on the piano keyboard. You're actually stepping up, going to the very next note each time. And if we do the same thing going down, so going line to the very next space, to the very next line, to the very next space on the music staff, then the pitches are getting lower by step, and we are going down to the left on the piano keyboard by step, going down to the very next note, to the very next note, and so on. So one more way to look at this. Again, we have those notes lined up, going up on the music staff, line, space, and that means we're going up to the very next note, remember? So we're just going to go through the music alphabet, C, D, E, F, G. After G, we're coming back to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on. Now, I hope that you were able to learn something new about how to read the notes of the treble clef today. But I do want you to remember that in order to read the notes well, you do need to memorize them. So I gave you a couple ways to try to remember the notes better and more quickly, and a couple things to learn the system of reading the notes on the treble clef. But here's the thing, you need to take some of your own time and take some flashcards and memorize it. You could also download the Note Rush app. I love this app. I use it with my students all the time, and it is basically a game that will help you memorize the music notes. Now, it is not free, and I am not sponsored by it or anything, but I do highly recommend it. So you could definitely check it out. I'll put it in the description below as well. And please comment down below. Let me know if you would like a course on how to read music, because I would love to create that for you, and I'm just wondering if you are interested. I'm looking forward to chatting in the comments. See you later. Goodbye.